What's up, YouTube? I am the Vanilla Nerd, and today I want to talk about Star Wars, the original trilogy. Now, I haven't watched any of these movies in the last month or so, so I don't really want to get into the nitty gritty specifics of any one of the movies, but I do want to talk about the trilogy as a whole. So, yeah. Fair warning, there will be heavy spoilers for all of them, but they did come out like 40 years ago, so take that or leave it. And yeah. So, starting as I like to with the characters, I want to talk about Luke. Now, Luke is awesome. He is the Jedi, and I think that's so cool. I love seeing him grow from being a whiny little brat on Tatooine to being this Jedi Knight that can actually take down and beat Darth Vader. And he beats the Emperor with his compassion. It's fantastic. It's so cool, and I love it. Next, I want to talk about Han Solo, and he is the king of cool. He's got the swagger, he's got the vest, he's got the gun, he's got the awesome ship. He can outmaneuver anyone, and that's so fun. I love the Millennium Falcon. I love seeing him pilot it through the asteroid field. Every time, that is just such a fun and awesome scene to watch. So good. So good. My one gripe with Han Solo is the fact that he kind of loses his swagger in episode 6. Like in episodes 4 and 5, he's still cool and awesome, but in episode 6, there's just something missing. One way to describe it is that in episodes 4 and 5, he was funny, but in episode 6, he was goofy, and that's just not good. Now, I do know that behind the scenes, the actor Harrison Ford wanted the character killed off, and when that was denied him, it definitely made him less interested in playing the character, and his heart just wasn't in it. Whether that's the entire reason or part of the reason, I'll never know. But I do like Han Solo. I just think he wasn't as cool in the 6th movie. Next is Leia. Now, Leia is awesome. I love how she's just this no-nonsense rebel leader. Not that she's not willing to smile or crack a joke from time to time, but just that she's not going to sit by and let others save her. She's not going to be a damsel in distress, and that's fantastic. Literally in every movie, she takes part in freeing herself. In the first one, she snatches the gun out of Luke's hand and has the brilliant idea to escape through the garbage chute. In the 5th one, she takes one of the blasters from the stormtroopers and then allows Chewbacca to choke Lando Calrissian so that she can interrogate him for information about Han. Fantastic. Then she leads the charge to save Han and then later to save Luke. Fantastic. And in the 6th movie, she literally uses the chains of her bonds to kill Jabba the Hutt, and that's fantastic. So cool. My one gripe with Leia is that they made her Luke's brother, and everyone has talked about how weird it is and how creepy it is. I think it's weird. I do like that she has the Force. I think that's so cool. I think imagining Jedi Leia is awesome, but I think making her Luke's brother probably was a little unnecessary. Lastly, I want to talk about our main villain, Darth Vader. Now, Darth Vader is intimidating. He's imposing and he's awesome. I love everything about him, from the black armor to the creepy mask to the robotic chest plate. It's just fantastic. There's a reason he's often considered the greatest movie villain of all time. He just is iconic, and I love that about him. More so than anything, I really appreciate that he has added depth. He doesn't just look cool, but he is cool. He is Luke's father. Spoilers. And he is this troubled and sad man. And at the end, when he gets just a little bit of redemption, he chooses to do the right thing in the end. He may have done years of atrocities, but he chooses to do the right thing in the end and save his son and defeat the Emperor. It's fantastic. It's great. And I love Darth Vader. Now, as the picture implies up above, I could go on and on about many of the characters like Lando Calrissian, Yoda, C-3PO, R2-D2, Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Emperor, Chewbacca. There's loads of other characters I could get into, but I'm going to save that for when I do in-depth, one-on-one movie reviews of each of these films. For now, these 4 characters will suffice because they really are what make the original trilogy great, and it's fantastic. So let's move on to the plot. I really like the plot of these 3 movies. I think it is really good. It's often considered the definition of the hero's journey, especially the 4th movie alone by itself, but also the entire trilogy kind of shows that hero's journey of Luke beginning his training as a Jedi and then getting better and better. I really like how in the first movie he's not super powerful or anything, but he has enough connection to the Force to make this impossible shot on the Death Star. Fantastic. I also love how at the end he has constructed his own lightsaber. He is relying on the Force, and he is able to successfully beat Darth Vader until he chooses not to kill him, and it's just fantastic. I also enjoy seeing the rebellion grow throughout this trilogy, watching them start out as just a couple squadrons of fighters in the first movie. I mean, I know it's implied that there's more in other areas of the galaxy, but you get the point. They start out just showing you 2 squadrons, and in the 6th movie you get to see this entire ragtag fleet that goes up against the might of the Empire. Fantastic, so fun. And while episode 6 I think has the most troubling plot, it does also have the most fantastic ending. That 3rd act of the rebels attacking the Death Star in space, the rebels on the ground led by Han Solo and Leia attacking the stormtroopers and the shield generator, and then Luke facing off against Darth Vader in the on the Death Star itself. Fantastic. That little trident of plot funness is just awesome, and you just get the best of everything from Star Wars that everything Star Wars has to offer. So I love the plot of this trilogy. It has its failings, it has its shortcomings, I know that, but overall it's just really good and really solid, and I really enjoy it. Lastly, I want to talk about the setting of the Star Wars universe, and this is probably one of the greatest accomplishments of the original trilogy, is that it was able to create this rich and vibrant galaxy that so many people love. And it just is so impressive to me that it all really came from one person, George Lucas. Now, I know the artistry of Ralph McQuarrie really helped make George Lucas's ideas a reality. I know there were other creatives involved, and other people had thoughts and ideas about how they should look and how they should act and stuff. But ultimately, without George Lucas, there would be no Star Wars. And that's just so cool to me that he was able to introduce us to this world and make it so vibrant that it still is beloved today. And that's just really cool to me. Now, I am in no means think that George Lucas is perfect or a god among men or anything like that. He's awesome, but he does have his flaws. He does have his shortcomings. The prequels really showed how maybe he's not the greatest director ever, but still, I think George Lucas is awesome, and I do like him. Now, in terms of specifics, my favorite thing from Star Wars is the Jedi. I think warrior monks is just so cool. And the fact that they work with technology and not against technology is just awesome. Like, I had this kind of out of nostalgia experience, if you will, where I just kind of realized the lightsaber really is this steampunk weapon. And the fact that the Jedi, who are all about spirituality and connection to living things, using this very non-living thing, is just, it's really cool how well they were able to blend that together to the point where the Jedi lightsaber is almost seen as like this sacred artifact and this special weapon and a critical part about any Jedi's path. And that's awesome. So I love the Jedi. I love how they have a yin to their yang in the Sith. Fantastic. And so I love that. The other thing that I love about the setting is the lived-in world. It's nothing new or groundbreaking to talk about with Star Wars, but I love the fact that literally every piece of technology, everything feels like it's been used, like it's been made before, like it has a history before our characters saw it or experienced it or worked with it. That's absolutely fantastic. Whether it's rust stains on the ship or scuffs and highlight marks on their metallic pieces and stuff. It's just fantastic, and it's great. The last thing I want to talk about with setting is the spaceship design. I love the spaceships of Star Wars and how iconic each and every one of them are. Whether it's the X-Wings, the TIE Fighters, or the Millennium Falcon, it's just all so cool, so fun to see. And even newer stuff that is created, you can tell it's a Star Wars ship just by looking at it. And I love that the original trilogy created such a vibe and such a feeling for its spaceships that now that is a very real thing, that you can just tell a Star Wars ship apart from any other ship. All right, to finish out this review, I just want to say that I really do enjoy the original trilogy. It's not perfect, it has its flaws, but for the most part, it has its wins, it has its successes, and I love it. I love the character of Luke Skywalker. He's fantastic. Do I wish they gave more time to Han and Leia? Absolutely. But do I hate the story that I was given? No. It's wonderful. And ultimately, this trilogy was so strong, so powerful that people were clamoring for more for 20 years before they finally made a sequel. And that's fantastic. And it still is such a strong foundation that the rest of Star Wars builds off of. It's so good. So good. So when you have excellent characters, a fun plot, and a really captivating setting, you get one of the best trilogies of all time. And that is how I feel about Star Wars, the original trilogy. It's one of the greatest. And those are my thoughts. I will talk to you all later.